Let's go back to basics with this discussion about dog ownership and taxes. So, dog ownership is a huge tax on our society, financially, emotionally. But right now, people are concerned about taxes getting raised. So, read this. When there are fewer taxpayers, governments can raise taxes to maintain revenue levels for public services and programs. This can lead to higher tax rates for the remaining taxpayers to compensate for the loss in tax income. So, if we have a bunch of quote unquote people or quote unquote family, as they call dogs, that cannot get jobs and cannot pay taxes, guess what? Then we have to pay more taxes because dogs have access to all of our infrastructure: dog parks, city parks, public trails, national forest, even things like protected places for protected birds. We're starting to bring dogs onto those places too. All of that comes from our taxes. Our security, our privacy, our police force, it all comes from our taxes. And more, domestic dogs just use all that stuff, but they don't pay taxes. Do you guys understand the simple math here? It's like if you're going to go buy two extra large pizzas and you got like 20 people. Oh, it's like a couple bucks per person. Well, you got three people. Well, now the cost just went up. So that's one of the issues with this dog ownership. So, like I said, dogs don't pay taxes. Now, some sources are going to make sure and tell you this little thing about some dog owners are taxed for having a dog and that licensing fees for dogs are going to help pay for this. But dog owners don't license their dog. They don't ship their dog. So many dog owners it's just a country full of freaking stray dogs. We're starting to look like India. Just look like Texas. Or look at Texas and all the stray dogs. And another thing about these damn dogs, guys, there are so many tax breaks for dog owners. So many tax breaks. So you got a freeloading dog that doesn't pay taxes, and then you get to use that dog so you can even get out of taxes more. I mean, there's tons of write ups and online lawyers that will chat with you. 10 pet deductions for your pup or doggo. The damn thing won't even get a job and pay taxes anyway, so what the hell? Freeloader. And while we're on the topic of the freeloading of dogs, so did you know you can just get any old, pretty much stupid dog and register it as an ESA, emotional support animal? Like people that have emotional support animals, they just have like a spoiled dog. They give it a bath, they give it a bed. It's not real. You need an emotional support human. If you need a filthy beast that will shit in your house as an emotional support animal, you got a freaking problem. Beyond needing a dog, you need a real human to find your value and help with you. That's my opinion. But yeah, people get emotional support animals, and they're actually just supporting the animal. It's just a spoiled pet. But you can get these super easy. You can go online and get it for any old kind of dog, and then you can claim it. So look at this. So people are aware of this that I'm telling you about because they want to pay less money. They want to pay less of their share of taxes. So look at this. Emotional support animals have increased drastically. They're going to tell you this trend reflects growing awareness of mental health benefits that ESAs provide. Psh, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. More people are depressed, more people are obese, more people are sick, but yet we have more and more and more and more dogs, more and more emotional support animals. It seems to me that we're just creating a problem just so we can sell people a fake solution. It's just like with antidepressants. Everybody's so depressed, but yet everyone's taking antidepressants, and then depression gets worse every year. Yeah, so they can sell you more antidepressants. It's the same thing with dogs, the exact same formula. So back to my point about more people available to pay for taxes and pay for city services, the less each person has to pay. Well, several cities in the USA have more dogs than children. I think even some cities have more dogs than people. But look at all of these cities where there are more dogs than children. More dogs than children. More dogs than children. So, what does that mean? Dogs will never grow up. They will never get a job. They will never invent a product. They will never go mow your neighbor's lawn for a few dollars. So, there's no children that are going to grow up and get jobs. Instead, taxpayer funded, freeloading dogs filling up all these houses all over America. 15 cities with more dogs than children. Your child can grow up and get some type of job. Even the lowest lowly of a job, like if you got a 40-year-old guy that's a complete loser, as somebody might say, maybe he has like a paper out or he sells paper airplanes on the corner to get money to buy edibles or some silly story like that. At least he is somehow contributing back to the community because he's going to have to pay taxes. If he goes to the store to buy, let's say he's like a weed addict, he loves to have edibles or vaping, he's still going to pay taxes on those products that he uses. A dog will never do that. A dog will always need your income to have access to all of the city sources, all of the police, all of the dog parks. And so more dogs equals less human population to pay for taxes, which means we are going to have to pay more. It's a simple math thing. Even the most entry level financial class guys will explain this to you. And so yeah, several cities in the United States have way more dogs than kids. So less future taxpayers. And all the people out there that are setting city budgets and looking at what kind of money to take from you right now so they can keep affording to, carry your dogs on their back. They're looking at this. They're looking at this way deeper than I'm showing you right here. And speaking of city budgets overall, across America, they've been increasing their budgets. So local budgets in the USA have generally been increasing. So dog culture is part of the way that they get this increase. If they have lawsuits from police dogs and dog bites, and they have a bunch of new expensive dog parks, when they go and decide to raise taxes and bring in more money, that's going to be a substantial part of their leverage. Like, look at what we spent on dog calls and police dispatch to dog bites. Look at the lawsuits that we had for police dogs biting. They're going to look at that and they're going to raise taxes because they got to freeload these dogs for another fiscal year on their budget. And so that's part of the reason why these tax revenues are higher and these budgets have been increasing. But something that bothers me about these budget increases, though, part of the budget increase with the county, the police, the city that you live in is to provide safety to the citizens on their private property. Yet, dog attacks on kids are increasing in the United States. And so, if you can, wide perspective this is extremely evil. So, first off, we're going to take and have less children and more dogs, which means less taxpayers to help us pay for our stuff. So we're not giving kids the opportunity to be future taxpayers, right? But then we're letting these dogs attack these kids. You're hitting the kids twice. You're choosing a dog over a kid, and now you're going to allow your dogs to bite your children, all partially funded by property taxes and other things like that. So that's going to be another effect on your taxpayers, because if some of these kids get extremely mauled, where they can't work in customer service, they can't have a YouTube channel, they can't do like an Instagram influencer, so they cannot work maybe a job that they want. Maybe they want to be an EMS person, maybe they want to be a police officer, but their face is torn up or the tendons are ripped out of their arm by a freaking pit bull, and now they cannot be as a productive member of society as they could have been if they wouldn't have been attacked by a dog. So that's another hit on taxpayer revenue too, because you're damaging these children with dog bites which means that they're going to be less employable, they're going to have less confidence, less strength, less ability to be personable. And so they're going to not be able to work the jobs that they want. They're not going to be able to seek happiness and be able to pay taxes down to the rest of society. So yeah, if you guys want to know why your taxes are increasing, the fact is dog culture creates fewer taxpayers, more freeloading dogs, less children because we put dogs over children, and children are getting hammered by the dogs themselves by being low prioritized over dogs and by these increasing dog attacks that the police and local places like libraries and taxpayer funded animal charities, they're supposed to educate the population, but they don't. They tell people that dogs are perfect for kids, and then every freaking day we see more attacks on more kids. So all the stuff we're putting our taxpayer money into, they're getting more of our money to help protect us, but they refuse to protect us when it comes to dogs. Yeah, so there you go. If you want to look at why your taxes are going up, dog culture needs to be a huge part of this because they're nothing but jobless, non-taxpayer or non-tax-paying freeloaders that convince us to put our kids at low priority, and they hurt and damage and kill and maul our kids, our kids, which are going to be our future taxpayers. See you guys later.